CTO, so that's why my talk today is quite technical in test, but I try to reduce the technical issue first. So as you know, that the first question for all of us is that how many of you that you think that you can buy a ticket, a Vietnam Airlines ticket on Zalo or something? You can, but actually I cannot. If you go to Zalo, you can talk to Vietnam Airlines. There's no way for you to buy a ticket. But that's not the problem with the technologies now. It's about that they are quite not ready in terms of data security, something, and how they can allow the businessman to enable the function of selling a ticket on Zalo, even on Telegram. The technology is already right there, but the ways that they really apply it to that, it costs a lot. So that's why today that I want to share with you about the governance framework rather than technology. So this is a new mindset because I think that GenAI will disrupt a lot of technology. Oh, sorry. Just walk you through the very simple sense about how iGOT.AI is building now. So we are building a local studio, so where you can buy a lot of functions like selling ticket from Vietnam Airlines, is that can be a function of one virtual assistant. So that virtual assistant can communicate with client, with your customer on any kind of channel. And those kind of functions from virtual assistant directly, eventually, it will produce a lot of data for your company. The same question is that how many of you think that your company already provides some AI function that support your daily basis? No, right? For example, even the CEO assistant. The CEO's assistant doesn't have any kind of AI function for themselves to serve the CEO. Even at one day, the CEO can call you at night to say that, hey, how is booking with Mr. somewhere else, and discover his profile on LinkedIn, make sure that he's CEO of someone else, of some company, and then make a meeting with me for next week. But there's no one else who can support at night. But nowadays, you can build that kind of function on our studio, and eventually that assistant can generate a lot of information about that kind of person, and then it can produce the data into your company. So this is our vision in the next generation, is that when you have a lot more agents to serve your business, so eventually those kind of agents will produce a lot of data for your business. Is how many users it can serve for selling tickets, or how many work that it can support for finance team to produce the analysis, and what kind of analysis really work. And those data eventually will become your asset. And I think that most of the companies, they're really concerned about the employee. Even at McKinsey, I was at McKinsey 2 years ago. The first time when McKinsey released, OpenAI released Gemini 4, McKinsey blocked every traffic from OpenAI because McKinsey, they don't allow their employee to use those functions because the data, it needs to be secured in some way. So when you have the data right here in your company, you need a security layer. Then this security layer is not only about physical layer, but it can be also about the software layer. For example, if you have the data from C-level team, one day the CFO, they manage a lot of knowledge in one space. And that space can also serve for the CEO. The CEO can also contribute lots of data in that space. But what if the director person in another department, the question is that, is it possible for them to utilize the data from C-level? You can, right? But you need to provide a policy to say that if that is the director, they can see something, they can know something. But for C-level, for example, if the CEO, he takes 2 weeks vacation, so that's when the CFO comes up, they can utilize the digital version of the CEO in that space with a very highest level of security right there in the data. So to me, it's that the more data we collect by GenAI, the more knowledge we generate, we manage to ensure that the company can grow, right? So the data should be big in future. So this kind of data, it's even bigger than CDP out there. Actually, you know CDP, the Customer Data Platform, but GenDP will be 10x, even 100x. So the more you have data, the more you have to concern about the framework of security. So I think I'm sorry that so this framework is come from GenAI.global. You can go to GenAI.global to download this framework, and this framework is about 4 things. First one is that when we apply this framework, so we will understand that what kind of strategy that you have to apply for your business to make sure that the GenAI can come in place and solve your business goal, your organization, something. And 4 other things that, first one is that operational and technology investment. To me, it's that operation is something that if GenAI comes in place, you have to apply, you have to think about how it should transform your operation first. When you have that, right? Because eventually you will embed the way how your company works and then push that part into GenAI. And after that, GenAI will do it in the same way your company follow. You know the Conway law, right? Conway law say that eventually whatever system you build for your company, those kind of systems will reflect the way your business operates. So having this will also give you the very solid direction on the way you apply all this. To me, that transparency and accountability is something that what we are building. So we have a team in China. So we are building a very low level of security to make sure that the team, when you produce a lot of data on GenAI, you have to know exactly where the data comes from. If the data comes from Gemini, if it has some conflict with anthropic sonnet model, right? So that's one idea about this. That's one company. They tried to something very simple. For example, they asked the same question for GPT-4, and they compare the result with anthropic sonnet 3.5. They compare the differentiate, and after that they produce the new information from there. So that's two prompt generate another information, and then they create another data. So that data will become new asset, and this kind of asset, it will become something. So that will become the function of this framework to make sure that you have to monitor the information where it's come from. So eventually, the information from GPT-4, even Sonnet, it will be useful for you to train the cheap model. The cheap models can be Llama 3.5, 3.1. You can produce something from the previous data from other models. So to me, the human ethical is something, actually had demoed something about the image, right? You can think about the image, for example, if you go to India, you cannot advertise a buffalo, right? But you can go to Indonesia, you cannot advertise a pig, right? So ethical and social consideration is another layer to ensure that the company, they have to apply GenAI to follow some of regulation and environment information. So to me, the data for having this principle is very crucial because the data from GenAI, we don't know how it's produced. Yesterday, I saw the talk about for Eric Smith. He said that we don't know exactly how GenAI will produce the data until we ask that. But we know exactly the boundary of information. So boundary is about the layer that the AI model itself is already trained, but eventually the output of everything, right? We always need a layer to monitor the information of the model, the GenAI model. To me, data compliance management is very well standard in the market. Is that you produce something, make sure that those guys does not conflict with other risks, and then this is something that already well known that's out there. I would like to share some practice that for some of our clients to see that the information that we can work with this company. So we have a company in Qatar. They have a farm of device. So the cost of them is that every time when they change a new client, they have one single device, but this device can be transferred to different client. But every time they have to develop a lot of software function, and the life cycle takes more than 2 weeks. But nowadays with GenAI, every single text from the device, eventually it will convert into OS instructions. OS instructions can be device moving, or say out or something, or even open camera. So to me, that our studio for now, by having GenAI, it's easy to allow the client to change the different manner of every single block. So they only need to build an IoT platform to embed the GenAI function without coding. So we work with Hanoi City to develop the new function so we also have any day is that they complete merge their operation into GenAI platform to make sure that the operation can be simply operate on GenAI operation. Thank you.
So please hold back. We also have the MMA gift for you today. Thank you so much for your sharing.